Welcome to Drinks with a Side of Gossip, the Fall Sports Extravaganza. Yeah. I am George Odom. Oh, look at that. We've got applause, y'all. We've got applause.
Yes. I'm Miss Lee Lovely.
And I'm Evie Sanrio.
And if you haven't noticed yet, we've got new audio. We've got new audio. It sounds really great.
Stuff.
Yeah. For people who listened, for the 68,000 people who downloaded.
I can't believe it.
So
Isn't that
amazing.
insane?
Yes, it's awesome.
That's so great.
68,000 people downloaded the Back to School special, and it's just insane.
I love it.
It's insane.
Thank you to each and every one of you guys. That's amazing.
Thank you. And because of that, I say we crack open our shots to toast to that.
Shots and our beers.
Okay.
Let me. Oh yeah, shots. You're like.
Well, let's do the beer.
Because I gotta have my chaser.
Yes.
I gotta have my chaser.
Gotta have the chaser.
Today for our first shot, I'm having sex on the beach by Twisted Shots. Thank you, Twisted Shots.
I'm having Pussycat, also from Twisted Shots.
I was like, excuse me?
Perdón.
Yes. Listen, let's not ask questions, y'all.
And what are you
I'm having
99
brand bananas.
Oh, that's my favorite one.
Oh, Mary liked it too. Mary, this is your shot.
Yeah,
Mary.
the bananas are good.
Yeah.
That's the only one I really like, to tell you the truth. The other ones are way too overpowering.
The cherry lime is not bad, but the aftertaste is like cough syrup.
Yeah, it's all.
It's pretty strong.
It's bad.
Ready?
Yes.
Ready?
Here we go. Pa arriba, pa abajo, pa el centro, pa adentro.
Woo! Let's get this day started.
They've gotten warm since we've been sitting here.
They had just in that little bit, because that's how hot it is in these parts.
And
105 today.
We talked last week on last week's show about the heat and how hot it was last week. I did not expect it to be this hot this week.
It's ridiculous.
It's been over 100 degrees all week. In Childress. We have Childress listeners, by the way.
Hey, shout out to Childress.
They hit a new record yesterday, 110 degrees.
Oh my God, oh no.
It's
Lord.
insane.
It's crazy.
It's insane. It needs to stop. Whoever runs the sun, stop.
Bro, like literally right now in Vegas, we're hotter than Vegas. That's literally the middle of the desert, like,
I can't.
And we're hotter than they are at this point. Insane.
And then these kids out here, like yesterday with football practice, I'm like,
Girl, I don't. We need to have a show about that. Like, that trips me out that they do it in the afternoons.
Yeah, like right in the hottest
my
part
son
of
is in
right
band,
after school,
and I'm like, there's kids out there fainting, girl. It's insane.
Oh yeah, and people are like, that's just normal. If they're not able to handle it, they don't need to be in it, bro. No. But it's. I mean, I get that it's part of it, because during the game they're going to be suited up, and it's going to be hot during the game. So I get that it's part of their training, to get them to prepare to be out in the heat.
The equipment out there too.
But you know what? They need to get the big fans like the football players get. You know, they need to have water coming at them like the football players. Like they have trainers and stuff.
Yeah.
The band needs it too. The band, they're wearing long sleeves.
Yes, and it's crazy, the band.
Yeah,
they're out there.
Yeah, it is. And
they
they're
have to carry
carrying
around
their
those,
instruments.
some
and
of them
everything.
play them big, heavy instruments.
Yeah.
They play the drums,
the tubas and things
like
that.
that.
Those poor kids.
Well, I want to say,
insane.
was it last year, as far as one of the high schools, they were doing them in the mornings, weren't they? Or over the summer when they started the summer.
They used to. I don't know why. What made them?
I thought that was smart, actually. I wonder if some people complain, though. Like,
there's always complaining.
There's always complaining.
There's always
somebody
like
bitching about.
Morning is better for them, though. A little chillier,
Karen's
not as
everywhere.
hot.
I know. Them Karens, what?
Karen's
then in the
everywhere.
hot.
I'm hearing the band play at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's probably what it was.
Especially
You're right.
at schools like,
where we
the
are.
school we went to, it's in a neighborhood.
Yeah, just
And
smack
so
in the...
It's hard for them to do, anything else. I mean, they could practice at the football field, but it's far away. So it's easy right there in that parking lot.
I'm glad you said something, because I was thinking I was the only one thinking that, but I'm glad you said that. Like, I find it so, it makes me mad. It's my poor kid.
Let's also say that it's a miracle that we are here today.
Okay.
Lee had sick kids after last week's episode.
Yes.
You and your kids were sick.
I did. Yep, we were all sick in the house.
So there's been a lot of sickness. And at first, early in the week, I was like, oh my God, we're not going to make it to next week's episode because everybody's sick. And we have a special, so it's going to be hard to push it back.
Right.
All you have to do is stand outside for 10 minutes and the heat kills all the
germs.
It burned all the germs off of everything.
I mean, it's right? Miserable outside.
And then the little wind that we get or whatever, it's like opening the fucking oven.
It's a devil wind.
Let me tell you though, I work overnight, and so I don't deal with this heat. Mm-hmm. When I'm out there, and if I have to be outside and do outdoor things, there's like a really not cool breeze, but like it's not like the ass of hell outside like it is right now.
And God bless the ones that do work out there. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I'm like, God, please, Lord, keep these guys.
Sonic, the kids that work at Sonic, my nephew works at Sonic. Oh my gosh, for them to be out there.
Yeah, even the construction ones too.
The construction workers.
The roofers are the ones I feel like get the worst of it.
Mary is a shuttle driver, so she works outside too.
Yeah. And it's crazy because there I am, in my office, and there's days where I got to put on my little heater because it's freaking freezing in there.
Yeah. Mom puts on a heating pad, and I'm like, bro, it's 105
right, just step outside real quick.
Yeah, just go outside. Just
it's crazy.
Put your butts up against the door, against the glass door.
Well, they did that little thing on the news. Did you see it where they put the cookies on the baking sheet on somebody's dash? Yeah, and
I did see that. They did the egg this morning on the cement. I saw that one.
It's too hot. It's too hot. I'm ready for this to be over.
I am too. Well, I still question my sanity why I still live here because I'm too fat for this.
Next week it's supposed to cool down like a lot.
Is it?
Like we talking about at least lower 90s?
The 90s, 87.
You know what? I'll take it.
I'll take 87 any day.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, so supposedly, but you know how it is. Up and down can totally be different. But we
are also headed towards the fall.
Yes.
August is always the hottest month of the year, so we're moving away from this. And for us in the town that we live in, our county fair is coming next month.
And usually when the fair comes the cooler weather and the rain.
Cooler weather and the rain. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, please hurry up, fair, get here.
It was hot last year though.
Yeah.
I remember last year it was really hot. Yeah, it was hot because I remember wearing shorts and it was like
I think the fair's ridiculous, man. I haven't been since like 2007.
Really?
We haven't gone out. It's too expensive.
I go just to eat.
I think that year it was just me and my middle kids when we went, and we spent like over $500 at the fair. I'm like, you're kidding me?
Yeah, but I just go to eat.
And see, that's why I've been wanting to go too, is just to eat. But I haven't gone in such a long time.
I'll take Mom, and me and Mom will go and. Yeah, when it's already dark, we'll go and we'll sit out there. We'll find a little table to sit somewhere and like get nachos. She likes the fair nachos, which are just like the basic little nachos.
I've been wanting the cheese stick
potatoes. Those are my favorite.
I love those. I've been wanting the cheese sticks so bad.
I love the hot cheese on the stick.
Yes. So
the strawberry lemonade. Yes.
Yep. Those are the essentials.
I also get a pizza.
Yeah, pizza.
A foot-long corn dog.
That's right.
Oh, I've been wanting one so bad. A foot-long corn dog.
I always go for the ones that the high school do, to support them. I get those from the schools.
See, I don't go to the football games. It's too hot. It's too hot. I wish they aired it on TV.
Oh, Lord.
Because I would probably watch.
They stream them, I think.
Is a football star.
Yeah, so we'll be out there.
In the hot.
New Deal. Right? Shout out to the New Deal Lions.
Yes, New Deal Lions.
Your nephew's a football star. That's right. I've seen him on TV before. Yep. What's his name?
Wow.
Sumner. Dallas Sumner.
So
all right.
Y'all keep an eye out for Dallas.
We're his biggest fans here.
Oh, yeah. And on that part, I don't care. That's when the heat is like, it's not going to bother me. I'm going to go out here and watch these games because,
Yeah.
You're a football game.
Right?
Yeah.
When my nephew played football, we were out there too. It didn't matter how hot it was.
Matter. And isn't it crazy when you're something you want to do and you're excited and all that? It doesn't matter. The heat, the cold, even in the winter on the football games, and it's freezing balls outside.
Yeah,
I'm bundled up and I'm out there.
One time Jorge had, when he was playing football, he had a game in Abilene, so we took off and we were there, but we were on the visitor side. The sun was just beating on us, girl. I thought we were gonna pass out. It was so hot, but I was just excited he was there.
And that's the same thing with Tech. When with our tickets, we're on the east, so any of the afternoon we have the sun for a while, which I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm sweating. I've got a cold cloth on my neck or whatever, and I'm sunburned by then. But during the time, it doesn't matter because
it's too hot.
But you're a diehard football fan, though. See,
let me tell you guys what we did for y'all. We turned off the fan in here because it makes a noise. Like it makes like a whooshing sound in the background. So we turn the fan on. I'm hot.
Yeah,
I'm hot. I'm sweating
There's 3 big bodies in here. That heat's going to come. That heat's going to creep real quick.
It's hot. I am working on another studio space in the TV room. I'm going to turn that into our 2B studio. Mm-hmm. Because there is a air conditioner, a window unit when our air conditioner had gone out a while back, our central, and our landlord was like, it's going to take a couple of days for the new unit to get here, so I'm going to put these 2 window units. So after he put the new main unit in, he was like, do you want me to leave these or do you want me to take them out? And I was like, leave them. Yeah. Because when it gets hot like this, I'll turn them on. Yeah. I'll turn them on. And so... either next week or the week after, when it's already cooled down. Right. We're gonna be in the other studio. Right. And then we got a lot of stuff going on. We do. We have a lot of stuff going on. Do. In our preparation to transition to video, we're gonna do our Halloween special on video.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I think we're gonna dress up.
Yes. No, we are.
I think. Yes. Never mind.
I'm trying to think of something epic, boy.
Halloween is my favorite holiday.
Us too.
That's my favorite holiday.
Like I love it. Ask for the day off when my boss is like, "Who wants to work for Christmas? Who wants to work for things? Sign me up. Yeah, I'll work. I don't care." But Halloween, I need Halloween off.
Because he knows we'll take him food to work. That's why he's not worried about it.
And not only that, but like, it's not a big deal to me. Yeah. You know, I've never really been into...
Speaking of, what does Halloween fall on this year?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know the day.
I don't either. But it's probably like a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
It really doesn't matter. And on Halloween, Sonic has 50-cent corn dogs.
Oh, yes. Every year.
It's on a Thursday this year, you guys.
And then I'm off Friday.
Oh, yes. You know what? And I get off of work Thursday morning, and then I'm off.
On a Thursday.
Nice. Yeah. It never fails. We go to the neighborhood, which it hasn't failed since even I was a kid in, the hood. They go all out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it doesn't take long to go up at least maybe 3-4 blocks and your bag is full. It's like, go home and go get another one so we can make the next little one. Like, you don't go very far from my house to load up on that candy.
Here
and they have the DJ. There's a few houses that have like games for kids to do like little cakewalks and stuff like that. And then one of the houses puts on lights and they have music going. I mean, they go all out. It is so much fun. And then the churches out there do the little trunk. What are they? Trunk or treat?
Oh, yeah. I love going to trunk or treat stuff like that.
Yeah. So.
But I was going to say, here in my neighborhood, not a lot of houses give out candy. Like, ask my sister, most of the street will be dark. Yeah. But I'm sitting out there. I'll usually put like a light out. Like, I have like a light that's like a disco ball kind of light, and I'll put it out on the outside light, and I will sit out there with a big old bowl of candy and give out candy.
But every year it seems as if trick or treating is getting earlier and earlier and earlier.
Oh, that was crazy. I had literally got home right at 5, and the kids were already out there. Like,
when we were young, we would stay out there, not crazy hours, but when it was dark already, and by the time we're done, like nowadays, it's already like the sun hasn't even gone down yet. Like everybody's done. But because they start like at 5 in the afternoon or something like that.
There's still those though over there. I don't know if it's different because over there in the hood they do start early, but man, them kids are still knocking on the door.
Really late at night.
Yeah,
see.
Not me. I'll turn the lights off. I make it look like.
And we have to turn them off, but you can still hear them
out there. Yeah.
Going.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely do, and I feel like I do give out candy pretty decently. So don't be coming knocking at my house once I turn the light on.
He gives good amounts of candy.
And I do. I give like handfuls.
You get the good stuff though?
Mom. Yeah. Mom's funny because she'll give out like 2. Look, like usually, because we'll get like the big bags from Sam's of the good candy, and then we'll get like a big bag of the filler.
Yeah. And like the Dum Dums and the Tootsie
stuff
Rolls
like that. Yeah. She'll get one good one and one filler and give it to them. Not me. I just reach in there and I just handful. So come and get your candy from me. Right. But once I go inside, do not come and knock on my door.
Right. Like, don't bother me.
Yeah, don't bother me. You should have come when I was out here. Yeah. Sitting out here with the lights blinking and shit. Right. That's when you should have come.
He even sits out there, I think, for a while.
I'll put music on and I'll sit out there.
I need to do that.
Yeah, he does. You do a good job.
I love it.
We also still have a lot of the ones that sit out there to scare the kids.
Oh, girl,
there's
yes,
so many.
I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the one down the street, they still set up their little haunted house for the kids to walk through.
I thought about doing that under my carport,
Mm-hmm.
but I just can't get myself to do it.
I mean,
we never get to give out because we go trick or treating.
They take,
so we don't have
she's got
time.
an army of kids to take.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, my boys do their own thing since they're teenagers.
Yeah.
You know, and most of them don't even want to anymore. So I just take the girls now.
Yeah.
So, but it's nice.
It is.
Nice.
No, I'm telling you, it's my favorite.
I love Halloween.
It's my favorite.
I already put my Halloween decorations up.
Already?
Yes.
The only thing, like Thanksgiving, I like to watch the parade with my nieces.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And football, of course.
Oh, yeah.
It depends because usually the teams I like don't play on like you don't see the Chiefs playing on Thanksgiving. It's usually the Cowboys.
Well, Cowboys are contracted. They play.
Yeah. So
They will always play.
That's the best team of them all.
Right.
Yeah,
Just saying.
I'm not a Cowboys fan.
Well, I mean,
I'm a Chiefs fan. Oh, and you know
what?
what?
Kick you out of this room right now.
right?
You're a Cowboys
If
fan.
y'all are gonna finish the rest of this, let me go sit in the air conditioning.
Yeah,
Let me go sit in the air conditioning. Y'all finish this.
We are
by yourselves.
Cowboys fans in here, sir.
Speaking of Chiefs, speaking of their
the
quarterback,
Chiefs,
yes, I've got some news when we start talking about.
Go ahead and tell them now because we got too much stuff to talk
Mahomes,
about. Yeah,
his
about
gift,
the Mahomes stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he gave a gift of $5 million to Texas Tech
I
University.
think that is so badass.
Yes,
he did. He knew he was giving, thanks to where he started.
Yes.
That's awesome.
What I love about him is he keeps Texas Tech.
Yes.
Yes.
He was
He's
involved.
so proud of his alma mater. And
he was instrumental in that deal that they got like with Adidas or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Huge.
That was because of him.
And his trademark on that.
Yeah.
With it. So
yeah,
it's,
so I
he's brought
love
so
Patrick
much attention.
Mahomes.
And he's taken Tech to, Kansas too.
Yeah. And they have Whataburger now, thanks to Patrick
they
Mahomes.
do. And if you notice too, with during their games, like on their TVs and stuff, when they show play, Texas Tech is up there.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever noticed.
Yeah,
but
he's making them so relevant at this point. Like it's amazing.
You
Not
watch
that they
the games
before,
and you see the double T on their big screens.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And they're also because of that
guns
gift,
up, y'all. For real.
Because of their gift, they're going to name that walkway.
That is so nice.
After him and probably his wife.
His wife as well.
His wife is very big, and I mean she didn't go. She did go to Tech.
No, did she?
Yeah, because didn't they go to school together?
I thought that was like high school.
But then didn't she come to Tech with him?
I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
On that part, I don't know.
I feel like she did. I don't know off the top of my head.
They're huge either way, and her too with her sports. They're just amazing.
And you know what? She's her own little businesswoman. And she's putting out babies left and right.
And a team owner. Don't they own the women's soccer?
She owns part of the Kansas City Current.
Yes.
I think the women's soccer team.
Yeah.
I'm just so
yeah.
I'm sweating up the storm.
Sweating.
We turned off that fan. You know what, guys? Y'all are gonna have to just deal with that roar of that fan because it is too hot in here.
Someone's gonna melt.
I am.
You're gonna say I'm melting.
My headphones are sticking to my head.
Physically, we're not built for this.
No, we are not. I am not meant for this kind of heat at all. But no, I think that's really great that him and his wife.
Yes. And that South End project is looking pretty badass.
I would love to have money to donate to Tech.
Oh, I would too.
Because we're big Tech supporters.
Oh yeah.
You want to hear? You want the applause? Oh, okay. We're learning hand gestures and stuff. Right. We got new recording equipment, so we are learning hand gestures, and we're trying to get all this stuff organized
before we go live.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've always said if I ever hit the lotto or whatever, one of the first things I'm doing is donating to Tech. I want to be a booster. I want to have my own little suite up there.
Right.
I want all that kind of stuff.
She wants to be like the big old football guys and stuff.
Tech football is one of the few sports. I want to go to Mavs games. Like I want to go to all the Mavs games.
Yes.
But Tech football is the other sporting event where I'm like, I want to go to all the Tech home games. But it's hot.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sit outside. I want to be in my own little box.
A little box.
Suite. Watching on TV.
Although, I don't know. I go back and forth when I talk about it with my mom because we're, of course, on the east side of the zone. So on the west, on the west side, you have a lot of your boosters and a lot of, the older people and the ones that whatever. Well, on the east side, it's crunk. I actually like it over there because it's a student section. You've also got the visitors in certain spots, whatever. And it's like the ones that have season tickets, but those are all they have or couldn't afford, and we're loud and obnoxious and just I love it over there.
Awesome. Yeah. That sounds fun.
I love it over there.
The pavo section.
Yes.
The pavo section.
Stop. Are y'all the tortilla throwers?
You
know what? Watch the games. It always comes from the visitor side.
Oh, there you go.
The tortillas are going. I got hit with a couple last year. There's so many.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How fun.
You know what? Maybe when we win the lottery, we'll sit on that side and we'll act straight up.
We'll fit right in. I'm telling you, I love it over there. The drinkers are over there. It's it's just
the best.
It's badass.
Ones.
Do you know that I went to a Texas Tech? I've gone recently to a few, but as a child, I went to one game. My dad took me, and me and my sister April, and we just went one time.
That's it.
One time, and
let him tell you the story, girl.
The game that we went to, the horse died.
You were there at that? Yes, that was the one I was at too. But I went to a lot of them.
It lost control on the field.
Yes, and that's when
he ran into a wall, and they had to euthanize it on the field, or it was right off the field.
That is so sad.
And that's the only time
he came home like so sad. I'll never forget.
It was heartbreaking.
It really was, and that's the only. I didn't go to a football game for like. Maybe like 20 years after that.
Oh my gosh.
In my mind, all I saw was that horse blasting into that wall.
OMG.
Yeah, it was pretty
horrible.
It was pretty tough.
And horses are not sturdy animals. They look, because people assume because they're big.
Yeah.
Horses are like an instant from death at all times. They're so breakable.
I know.
Any little injury they get,
I had thought after
die.
That, for sure, I was like, are they ever going to have a horse out? Because I was like, man, I wonder if they're going to stop that because of
what happened.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was like one of the best things that I love to see when the horse would run across the field. So
right. It's exciting.
Oh, yeah. Super it is. I can't wait. I still feel... I'm ready. I'm so excited for football.
And he's everywhere.
And the first game is coming up on the 30th.
Oh, it's coming up.
Yep.
It's coming up. Cowboys games are coming up.
Yep.
The Mavs are getting ready for
their
preseason. The Stars are getting ready for their preseason.
I'm ready for the Mavs. I'm man. This
season, we're going places.
Yes, we are.
We made it to the finals, but over this, I know I'm so hot. We've done some great acquisitions over the summer. We picked up some really great players. We're going to talk about that later on. The Cowboys picked up some great players. We picked up the Red Raiders through the transfer portal, picked up some great players. So we're going to talk about all of this. We've got so much to push into a 1 hour show.
That's right.
This show's going to be longer than
we got this.
Right.
It's going to be so much longer than an hour.
We ain't going to last long if we don't get some cool air. But
that fan is just going to turn.
You guys are going to have to listen to it.
It's going to be a very soothing sound.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a whirring sound. It'll relax you.
It's going to be like white noise kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about fantasy football as well. If you've never done fantasy football, have you done it before?
You know what? I've always wanted to, but it's like, man, I don't think I'd have the time. I'd have the...
It's work. It's work.
Yeah, and I heard that it is.
I've done it several years in a row, and I've done as good as first place at the end of the season to like 10th place.
Mm-hmm. Good for you.
Yeah, so it just depends. You got there's a lot of stuff that you have to work on, which we're going to talk about for people who want to join fantasy football leagues. We're also going to talk about, because we're all big backs in this room,
right? The food. Is that what we're going to talk about?
Yes, we're going to talk about the best foods.
Tailgate food
to have,
that's the best kind
for your game day, and also because we're a drinking show.
Yes,
we're talking about the best cocktails to have.
That's right.
But we've also got the hottest players and coaches to watch out for. Anywhere from young up and coming players to daddy coaches.
Hello.
We're going to talk about all of them. The most stylish athletes off the field. So, you got your...
And they have the money to be stylish.
Oh, yeah.
They do.
Oh, yeah.
So, and some of them come out like...
And, they don't even need the money. They get, people, designers and just throwing clothes at them.
Insane. Like, when I was, researching that, so many of them are on point with their clothing game. Like, a lot of athletes and coaches and all that. Amazing.
Yeah. And we're also going to talk about the best and worst uniforms.
I'm excited for that.
Oh, the uniforms. Yeah.
Because some of them, like our wonderful Red Raiders, have amazing uniforms.
There's nothing better than their
Cowboys have a good... I'm not a Cowboys fan.
Expensive.
Right?
I'm not a Cowboys fan, but they have good uniforms.
Yeah, they do.
The Mavs have good uniforms.
Yes.
I love the Stars unit. The green...
I like the Stars. Yeah, the Stars
green.
Nice. Yeah,
always.
But if we're talking green,
do you
like
guys
NFL,
know which basketball jersey was always my favorite? The Bulls.
Oh yeah, I love the Bulls.
The Bulls. I love their...
And those are red and black.
Yeah, red and black as well. Classic colors, right?
But of course, that was the team, though. Back then, you had to have
back
your
when we were young.
Yes.
You weren't cool if you didn't have one. Everyone had one. Girl, boy, it didn't matter who you were.
Yeah. So we've got a whole lot of stuff to talk about during this Fall Sports Extravaganza. So get ready for that. We're going to take a really quick break. We're coming back, and we're going to lay out just what the teams are doing to get ready for the fall. So stay with us. You're listening to Drinks with the Side of Gossip.
Welcome back to Drinks with the Side of Gossip. I'm Miss Lee Lovely.
I'm Evie Sanrio.
And I'm George Odom. Welcome back to our Fall Sports Extravaganza. We are talking about all of your sports information. We've got Cowboys stuff to talk about. We've got Red Raiders stuff to talk about. We are going to talk about the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes.
I forgot to print out stuff about the Chiefs. Which, we're big Chiefs fans here because of Patrick Mahomes.
Of course.
But we're going to start with, what do we got here? I've got Dallas Mavericks. So we'll start with the Dallas Mavericks. No, you know what? Let's start with the Red Raiders.
All right.
Who's got the Red Raiders
2024
schedule?
Red Raiders football schedule.
So you've got the schedule, and you've got some information about transfer portal.
Well, we're kicking off this season already next Sunday, August 31st.
Yes.
Game time.
August
Home
31st.
Game. We're playing Abilene Christian, which it should be a good game actually. Our season opener doesn't start till the 21st, of course, against Arizona State. That's a home game. We have 7, I believe, home games this time, which I love. The more, the better. I'll be at every single one of them.
The traffic is going to be bonkers.
I'm walking.
And I noticed there's no Longhorns on the schedule this season.
I know. And I had heard...
that's weird.
They had actually wanted to get them to sign as non-conference to keep them because the rivalry is always going to be there. And those scary bastards, sorry, they didn't want to sign.
I really feel like the Longhorns didn't feel like it was much of a rivalry because they win all the time.
Yeah, and they didn't. But
it was a good game. It was a really good game.
Yep. And the one year before when we played them last here at home, of course we won, so it was great. It was a great closure, I guess.
But you know what? It's okay.
It's okay.
They can go to the SEC and go
get their
off.
Yeah, and get their asses whooped.
I love how excited they are to be over there and how they just think they're going to dominate.
Run over
I'm like, bro, it's Alabama.
We've
it's
got that
Florida.
There,
it's so many of these monster national teams. And they swear they're going to go and... It's A&M now too, right?
Just run them over.
And they're gonna think they're just gonna roll through everybody.
Overconfident,
yeah. And I'm just like, bless your heart.
I think, right? You always have a rivalry when you have your team in college. Of course, we're Tech fans, of course.
Yes, we are.
But I think the hate for Texas on my end came so much because of the bandwagoners here that are just so dedicated and Texas this and Texas that, and they don't know a player that's on their team. They don't know nothing.
Are they the ones flipping cars in the streets and stuff? When they, remember that one year they did that when they won and they were flipping cars and stuff like that.
Oh, and they took the goalposts out and
was
went
it
crazy.
I didn't know if that was that.
I don't know.
Those
they're always doing it. I remember it was during the Texas game.
Was it
where they went down Broadway? and they were turning cars over and stuff.
I knew what I was talking about. See,
who the goes and tips cars over?
I don't know.
We're in the South. We tip cows over.
Right.
Who tips cars over?
You'll tip a Longhorn.
What was crazy to me is no one ever got in trouble for that.
Yeah, no.
Well, I won't say nothing. We came close when basketball when we were big and made it to the final.
Yeah, the Final Four.
Right.
The city went pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what was I was gonna say something about somebody. Oh, we have a friend named Loretta. Shout out to Loretta.
Shout out Loretta.
You know Loretta,
girl. I
too.
sure do.
Loretta.
We all know Loretta. She's
I love
diehard
Loretta.
Longhorns fan.
I know.
OMG, she's going to be so mad at us.
I know, right?
Because are we saying bad stuff?
Because
No,
we talk
I'm
Longhorn.
giving her a shout out because
okay.
she is a diehard Longhorns fan. And so, you know, I see her posting on Facebook about the Longhorns, and she just loves her team. She loves her team.
And there are
Loretta
ones that
so
that are
much.
good, you know, fans, Longhorns fans, but it's because they know, or they've come from there, or they're just you know.
Right. They have their reason.
I also have a friend named Serena. She's on Facebook as well, and she is just like Loretta is with the Longhorns. Serena with the Aggies.
Really?
Oh my
wow.
gosh! And it's crazy to me to see these people. I'm like, they're not even in our conference anymore.
Yeah.
They may as well not even be in Texas
I totally
anymore.
forgot about that, about Loretta being a fan. Oh, okay.
And I'm
forgot.
like, stop rooting for them. They don't even
That's
go
so funny.
here anymore.
Right.
So-
they don't
But
go here anymore.
Serena
Do you even
is
go to
such
this
a
school?
diehard
Really?
Aggies fan.
Really?
Yeah. And not just football. She follows the Aggies.
Everything.
I mean, diehard Aggies fan.
So let me ask you something. With Tech now, and of course the Longhorns are gone. That was the biggest as far as hated team, I guess you can say, that a lot of people had and anticipated, you know, us to play because they were hated the most. Who has taken that spot for you now?
As the most hated team,
Yeah.
Baylor.
Really?
Baylor. Yeah.
Baylor.
Because they're still in our conference.
Uh-huh.
They have a really big head about playing Tech.
Uh-huh.
You know, they don't even really. Lots of teams don't consider Tech a rivalry.
Yeah, they don't.
We get, you know, we got it from the Longhorns.
Yeah.
We got it from the Aggies. You know, and now that Baylor's probably the big team in our conference, we don't. You know, they don't really see Tech as a thing.
Yeah.
Like a threat at all.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of that is Tech's own fault because a lot of times we play these really important games and drop the ball so many times.
Yes.
Literally drop the ball so many times when they foul so much. Fouls is such a big issue for Texas Tech football. And it has been over the years. There have been times where there are games that they could have won. Penalties that they caused or they did. Stupid penalties that have cost us big games before. So
you're just Baylor, eh?
Yeah, I feel Baylor. What about you?
Well, for now, because I'm thinking that Colorado might be when they get into the
Buffaloes.
But to me is TCU.
TCU.
I can't stand TCU.
The Horned Frogs.
The
right?
Horned Frogs.
Yeah.
Them
The Horned Frogs.
stupid Horned Frogs. I can't stand their little hand thing that they do.
I know.
It's like their fingers are broken or something.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
just
like,
the
so are you
oddest
the
looking.
rattlesnakes
I know.
or what?
It's just so
Stop
weird.
doing
It's
that.
like they almost want to go or something.
You know, they do.
Yes.
It's like their little thing. And I'm like, okay, so are you the Horned Frogs or are you little bunny foo-foo?
Right.
Hopping through the forest.
Right. Yeah, they were always my second. So.
Because I see them with their little hand,
I know,
and
and
all
they
I
go-
think is little bunny
Yes.
foo-foo hopping through the
because
forest.
that's what we did in school when we sang that song.
Scooping up the field mice and bopping them on the head.
OMG.
Yeah. So I was like,
So-
pick another hand gesture.
And there were a lot of
TCU.
rude fans.
Well,
like when the visitors, when they come and they play at home.
TCU is
people are
also
assholes.
like a different level of college.
Yeah.
So their fans are a different level of bougie than Tech
I guess
fans.
so, because
You know, they're a little more, on the higher end of schools. And so and it reflects with the type of fans they have. And they're,
apparently.
I don't like to call people,
But
I can't think of a better
You
word
don't
for it.
love calling people out.
I just don't think of a better word
I
for
know,
them.
right?
Totally not you.
No, not at all,
Totally
right?
out of character for you.
But Colorado under Deion Sanders,
Yes.
that's going to be insane.
it is
going to
be pretty cool.
Ooh,
It is
going
going
to
to be pretty
insane.
good.
Yeah, so
Deion
it'll be.
Sanders.
He's done a lot with their program.
Yeah, they have.
He's turned them into a real
he was
contender.
a really good football player too.
And Colorado
I loved
used
him.
to be in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Way back in the what was it? Early
They've been
late
gone
80s maybe?
for
And they left early.
even in the Big 12, but they.
No, I
don't
mean
know.
from the Big 12.
Oh,
It was like in the
it's
late
probably been 10
80s, early
years.
90s when they left.
No, it hasn't even been that long.
Yes. 90s maybe? It had to have been. Oh yeah. I think of the year we're in and it's like I can't do the math part of it that has
And
been
then
that long.
Colorado has never really been like a thought to me.
Yeah.
Other than that's where to go and get the good drugs. That's never been let me follow Colorado. Right. Listen, we talk about this is a judgment-free show.
That's right.
Okay.
We don't make any judgments on any other people. Yeah. You do what you want.
You do you, boo.
We don't worry about you because we got our own shit to worry about.
Hey, and their weed over there is nice and legal. That's what I'm talking about.
Right? You're not going to get in trouble for that one.
Who's that? I saw that. Who's that? Oh, man.
We were just talking about that, literally. Listen. That's like she's
deep throwing that. So we're going to talk about
the recruit as well.
Oh, yeah.
With Texas Tech. I think at the end we ended up 24th in the country. We did pretty good.
Yeah.
With recruitment. I know one of the top ones we had was Micah Hudson.
I know you have a list of the top 5.
He was a 5-star portal. Yes. White Star receiver from Lake Belton High School. Shout out. In Temple, Texas.
He's going to
be a Red Raider this year. We've got Ellis Davis, and I can't pronounce it. Is it Cheetah? Cheetah? Oh,
do I have it?
He's out of Saxe, Texas, a defensive end.
Shout out to Saxe. I've been there before.
I know.
I thought you said Saxe, Texas.
Yeah,
I was like, hey.
But read us off a couple from that list that you have for the transfer portal acquisitions.
I have that one up in the transfer portal up here. Josh Kelly, Jalen Conyers, is that how you say it? Those are from, Josh Kelly was from Washington State.
Okay, so he transferred from there.
Yes, and then Davian Carter from Memphis. And let's see who else. Cameron Brown is out of West Georgia. We've got Vinny from Toledo as well.
Vinny?
Yes.
I love people who name Vinny.
I can't. The last name. The paper. Good luck.
See. Let's see.
Quit being blind every day. Put your glasses on.
Vinny Scary from Toledo.
And of course, a lot of players that have signed over in the class. Most of them out of Texas. Shout out to Pflugerville, Texas, for Peyton and Colleen and El Campo, Texas, Pearland, Huntsville, Bryan. We've got a lot of players coming out of there.
All these small towns, and they obviously produce huge football players.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not forget White House.
OMG,
I thought it was Tyler.
Now that you say that, I was like,
did he go to school in Tyler, maybe? I know something.
He went to high school in White Rock.
Who are we thinking of Tyler, Texas?
Somebody from Tyler. I know.
Jamie Foxx was from Tyler, Texas.
Is he?
Okay. Yeah. There you go. That's what I was thinking about.
So not a football player, but you know.
So then we're going to move on from the Red Raiders to the Cowboys. They've got some really big matchups this year.
Our team.
Give us a few off of the schedule.
Sure. I surely can.
Lee and I shall talk about.
So, would you like me to go in order, or do you want me to go like all over the place?
No, start with the first few.
Okay, cool. So week 1 we are at Cleveland Browns.
Yes. What day is that?
That's going to be Sunday, 9/8 at 3:25.
So that's a Sunday game.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns. I haven't really heard too much from them
on Fox, by the way. On Fox, FYI.
I haven't heard too much from the Browns over the summer.
You know what that reminds me of? My name is Cleveland Brown.
Who's next?
Okay, so week 2 we have New Orleans Saints.
The Saints.
That's also Sunday.
Is that a home game?
September. That's a home game.
That's preseason, right?
That is. Is it preseason? Does it say on there?
No.
Okay.
No.
I think
it's
that early. It's got to be though.
Sunday, September the 15th at 12 p.m. on Fox as well.
The Cowboys picked up a lot of really good players too, and I printed up a list
of new players
of people that they picked up and
are they good looking? No, just kidding.
We'll talk about that.
We're going to talk about that one too.
That's definitely coming up later.
Lee's going to be like, I don't care. Do they play good? I'm like, listen, I just want to make sure that their cheeks are round. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see what they were. What we did do was resign CD Lamb.
He got his contract.
I do know that as far as that goes, this will be his last year going in this season for his contract, and I think they're already starting to talk about. I don't know
because they seemed really not interested in re-signing him. You know,
and that has been talked about.
You know, one of the things over the summer was that he wants money. He wants big money because he saw what some of the other quarterbacks are getting, and he wants that.
Yeah.
The thing I have about that, he doesn't produce.
Yeah, and that's the...
They miss the playoffs almost every year.
Yes.
They haven't been to a Super Bowl since we were in high school.
Yes.
Probably middle school. They haven't been to a Super Bowl.
Well, it was, I don't even want to say the year. Keep talking. Go
ahead.
Right.
And so
let's not get real.
It's
technical.
different when Patrick Mahomes gets a max contract,
right?
Because he's a repeat Super Bowl quarterback. He's been an MVP in the Super Bowl.
3rd year, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know about football. I just know he's a badass. It's different when.
Well, I mean, his contract. Come on, what is this going into a 7th year?
Mm-hmm.
But after 6 years. Mm-hmm. 3 Super Bowl appearances.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone to the AFC
he can retire at this point, I bet, if he wanted to.
Every year. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I mean, when you've got that kind of a...
Yeah, you can ask for a max contract and get it. Whereas Dak Prescott which he's not a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
I feel like if Dak had the right players with him, they could get at least into the playoffs.
Well, see, and that's where I question that, because we have had last year, I mean, with the players and our starters and how our team was, I mean, honestly, we say it's our year. Last year could have been a really good year, but Dak, to me, he's either hot or cold. Mm-hmm. If you ever notice on the games, like he's either, he's fire. He's on it, and we win by big number and whatever. But when he's off the entire game, and there's like no coming back.
He's
from
cost him a lot of big games
a lot
through the years, and so that's why I say you can't ask for a max contract when you are not producing max results.
Yeah. So
Hoda says last season he was good.
Did he?
Yes, I just asked him about Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Well,
because I don't know much.
My nephew is a diehard. My nephew Jorge, my tocayo, he is a diehard Tech fan, and so he knows like stats. We should have asked him for stats and stuff like that.
I do know that we released, as far as players, we released Tyrone Smith and then Leighton Vander Esch, but didn't
Both
he end
of
up
those
retiring?
Were kind of
they
surprising.
Retired, right?
Leighton Vander Hoosley.
Yeah.
he did retire.
Yeah, he retired. And he was such a good player, but man, he was always injured. He got hurt a lot.
Most of his time hurt. Yeah.
He got hurt a lot.
I do think he did retire after that.
We did release Michael Gallup. And then the whole contract thing with CeeDee Lamb, still in talks. And of course, it's always going to be about the money. With the deal that they made or trying to make, he would be the 2nd highest paid wide receiver in the NFL under Justin Jefferson. Oh my gosh! For the Vikings, he got a good contract.
Did he get a good contract?
Oh yeah, but I mean Jefferson, he's pretty badass. So very, very deserving. I think CeeDee Lamb's very, very deserving too. So
wide receiver for the Cowboys.
He should be up there.
The Mavs also made some huge moves over the summer. They dumped Tim Hardaway Jr., which they've been needing to do. And they picked up Klay Thompson as part of a 6-team deal.
Really?
I'm so excited for that.
We picked up Klay Thompson?
We made it to the finals this year.
Yes.
Despite the fact that a lot of our players were injured, a lot of our players weren't playing that well. Luka, bless his heart, was injured most of the postseason. Yes,
and I love Luka.
Listen to some of the names that we picked up. We picked up Spencer Dinwiddie. They brought him back. Signed him as a free agent. Brandon Williams, Quentin Grimes, Najee Marshall, all signed as free agents. We got rid of Tim Hardaway Jr. And I love I can't think of his name right now.
Who?
Shit.
Kyrie?
The frizzy hair.
Frizzy.
Which one?
He's a young... he was one of the rookies this year. Oh my god. With the Legos and stuff. I cannot think of his name. Anyway, he's going to do so well.
Oh my gosh, what was his name? See, now we're going to have
to look it up.
Hey, Google.
Search it up. Hey, Siri.
Right?
Yeah, so give us a minute while we are on the Googler here.
Let's play that song.
Oh my gosh, I know, right?
No, we can't do that because we'll get copyrighted.
Even if we sing it, my bad. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm not sorry. I'll do what I want.
Derek Lively the second.
Lively, there you go.
Oh gosh, I love him. As well as a healthy Kyrie Irving.
Yes, and I love Kyrie.
And a healthy Luka along with Klay Thompson. And Spencer Dinwiddie and Derek Lively. We're going back to the finals. We are going back to the finals, and you know what? This is our year.
That's right.
This is our year.
Already.
This is our year because we went to the finals, and unfortunately, the Celtics were just the better team.
Yeah.
They were the better team. There's no way to say it other than they were the better team.
Yeah, there's no better way.
We're definitely going back to. I'd be super surprised if we didn't make it into the finals this year. It's just gonna surprise me.
Yeah.
The big things. Luka's got to stay healthy.
Yes.
They cannot depend on Luka to be the only
right
shot maker. Kyrie also was hurt.
Yes.
During the season, and he needs to be healthy.
Yes.
You know, they need to play more of their older players, but at the same time keep Luka and Kyrie going because they play such a big role in these games.
One of the best plays I think this past year, and I think I shared it with you, the video of the pass from Luka on the floor. Was it up to what's his name, and Kyrie? Oh my God, best play ever.
I saved it on TikTok.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I saved it on TikTok because it was just that no look pass.
Yes,
love it.
Yeah.
When
see when they do that, and to see him pass back with the other player thinking he is gonna shoot it, and they missed, that's like just perfection.
When they are firing, they're on sync. It. They are on it. But you know, when they're hurt, you know, they have to pull players like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Dwight Powell. I love Dwight Powell, by the way.
I do too.
But Dwight is reaching the end of his usefulness with the Mavs. This is the last year of his contract.
This one is?
This coming season is going to be the last year of his contract. Whether they keep him or not, I feel like they say that he's a really good cheerleader and he brings a lot of experience. He's the oldest tenured Mav.
Oh, wow.
This will be his 10th or 11th season with the Mavs, you know. So he does bring leadership to the team. But as far... And, you know, he played for Canada during the Olympics. And, you know, they did pretty well. Yeah. He played lots of minutes for Canada, but he played a similar role where he was more of a leadership role.
But shout out to US anyway, because they were...
They did.
Yeah.
The men and the women.
They did it, yeah.
The men and the women did so well.
Awesome.
They did so well.
Yeah.
We're going to be back with fantasy football tips for people who've never played it before. Yeah. So stay with us. You're listening to Drinks at the Side of Gossip, the Fall Sports Extravaganza.
Yes. Cheers. I need another beer.
Welcome back to Drinks at the Side of Gossip. I am Evie Sanrio.
I'm George Odom.
And I'm Miss Lee Lovely.
And we are back with our Fall Sports Extravaganza.
Yes, we are back.
I'm never going to get over these applause.
You're all excited with it?
Yeah.
Right?
So we're back and we're going to talk about fantasy football. A lot of people play fantasy football every year. Mm-hmm. I think we all know somebody who's there with their fantasy football at work. They're like, I got to trade and I got to do this and I got to do... I've been one of those before. But because, not to toot my own horn, toot, but I've won a few seasons.
Okay.
I generally don't place less than 4th when I play.
That's good.
One time I was 10th because I ignored it most of the season, and so like my players were getting hurt. I don't know why, for some reason I drafted Jay Samaro one year.
Okay.
And
well,
love him.
Right.
I think Jay Samaro is so great. I've met him before.
Oh wow.
I think he's so great. But as a football player, he wasn't for me. And I had faith in him because I drafted him.
Yeah.
Right.
But he just didn't do it for me, so I ended up 10th.
Yeah.
My Jay Samaro season.
Well, you tried. So
I did. Love him.
Matters.
Love you, Jay Samaro. Come on our show.
Yes.
We'd love to have you. But we're going to talk about fantasy sports. And we've got a list of some of... I can't get this off my screen. That's why I'm kind of tripping out.
Well, it's a list of 15 tips for fantasy football player beginners.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about it, Lee. Start us off.
Well, number 1, understanding your league scoring is number one on the list for beginners as they start, which I need to go through this because I really have been wanting to try it out. But I don't feel like I have the time to be able to keep up and do all of that.
And you're right. It's a good tip. Every league has its own scoring system and settings, ranges from the simple to the difficult and impossible. So when in doubt, check. But and they'll tell you when you sign up, how their scoring system works. Some of them it's simple, 7, 3, 6. Some of them are stupid. They give you points for the stupidest stuff. Yeah. So it just depends. You got to check on that. Gotcha. Utilizing the IR position. Once you're fully aware of your league settings, utilize your IR spots. Some leagues will let you stash almost anyone there, injured, suspended. That's the most extreme case, but if it's just holding a spot for injured players after you draft, drop a player and pick up a couple of guys that are starting the year on IR, and then camp out at the bottom of your roster. Evie, do number 3.
Sure. Do your research. Look once in a while. You get that person in your league who strolls into the draft room with 5 minutes to spare, Google's fantasy football rankings, and proceeds to draft. And luckily hits on every player.
I've done that before.
Ignore this owner. Do not be this owner. Knowledge is power in fantasy football. So listen to podcasts, read draft guides, and peruse Twitter, both pre-draft and during the season. Keep this research going so that if a player is injured, you can quickly run to the waiver wire to search for their backup.
Now, I can say that if you get... Some people just have the luck. Mm-hmm. Because I've been that owner that goes in there a few minutes before the draft starts, and I Google it, and I'm like, okay, who am I going to draft? And I take, the good players for as many as you can,
Right.
And then I just say, okay, I'm done. Let's just leave it at that. We'll see where my Peckerwoods end up at the end of the season.
Right.
And the Odin Peckerwoods or whatever stupid name I decide to give my team.
Yeah. I had taken some notes. I had now that you're talking about that, I remember they said you kind of just have to pay attention to your fillers.
Yeah.
That's
just
the ones
take
you're
up
filling.
A lot of player space.
Right.
Is players who just take up spots.
Right.
For when your good players get injured.
Yeah.
Because sometimes your good players will get injured.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
So you need to have spots for
the fillers.
That will come in when your good players are injured.
Right.
And take up that spot.
Right.
That's a good piece of advice there.
Yes.
Stay active on the waiver wire, Lee.
Read about that?
Yeah.
Or number 5.
4.
Fantasy football is not a set it and forget it activity unless you are playing best ball. Mm-hmm. So keep your eyes on injuries, depth chart issues, rookies starting to make a name for themselves, so you can pick them up before another manager has a chance. So set a notification on your phone for breaking news.
And that's super important because people will drop players, and that's why you really have to watch the waiver wire. Mm-hmm. After a bad week, someone will say, oh, this player sucks, I'm going to drop him. And if it's someone you think has a good chance, you can go in there and scoop them up, drop somebody else.
Right.
That's a good piece of advice. That's something you really have to watch out for. Stay active with your league mates. And I have a problem with this.
Yes, antisocial.
No one likes an owner that doesn't participate. Fill your roster, start your players, be a decent competitor at the very minimum. That's all you're going to get from me. I'm not going to be in there chatting.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be in there commenting. I'm not going to do puzzles polls and things like that. That's not me. So I'm going to go and do what I have to, but then that's it.
What you came for.
Yeah. I'm in it to win it. I'm not in it to be best friends with anybody.
Right.
I don't even care. Like, I played with cousins and so I don't give.
But I'm sure that, people probably go in there as well, like, to make friends and things.
Yeah, and some people do, and you'll see them in the chats.
The real social butterflies.
Most of these fantasy football things have a chat section where people can go in and make chit-chat and stuff like that, or, trash talk or whatever.
Right.
You won't ever see me in there, though.
Yeah.
Don't trash talk the Odin Peckerwoods because we are not going to be
They don't play around.
No, we just do our work and then we go home and celebrate.
Cool.
So, Evie, tell us about looking towards the future.
Okie dokie. As the season progresses, try to stay a week ahead regarding the waiver wire. Try to pick up backups a few weeks before your bye weeks so you don't get stuck. If the playoffs seem certain for you, look to stash a great defense for the championship week. If your league starts a defense, always have a backup plan or 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And take risks.
Yeah.
Draft a rookie with upside at the end of the draft. Balancing out risk-reward players is a delicate dance in fantasy football. Solid floor players are the cornerstone of a team, but high upside will win you championships.
Be boring because it's okay. There's nothing wrong with being boring.
Right.
Sometimes you need to sprinkle in risk into your team, but you need to stay consistent. At times, boring players will build your team's base. Don't turn a blind eye to these players. And that's very true because there will be players that you just think are just going to just sit there and take up
They're going to surprise you.
Yeah. And they will, have a great game.
Great year.
Game.
Great
the
season.
The quarterback thinks they're going to be great.
Yeah.
And they're vibing during the game. And they'll score 20, 30 points.
Right.
And so you gotta have that mentality that sometimes you're going to pick up really good players. But you got to read about them. You got to read your
research, people.
Yeah, see, and that's why, man, I'm going back and forth on it to give it a shot. Because number 9, it says check in pre-games for news. No one wants to miss a player being benched just before kickoff. So we live in a world now where you can have access to fantasy news with the touch of a button. Remember to check inactives before kickoff.
Check your stuff.
And adjust accordingly.
You do not want to have an injured player locked in to play because then you're screwed.
Yep.
Right.
So be sure to always check.
Very true.
Check on
very
your news.
true.
Evie, read number 10.
Sure. Get feedback from your league mates. This is something you need to remind yourself about before the start of the season. Discussing possible changes for your league right after the championship is super helpful. What did people like, not like? Should you add an extra flex spot? Should you get rid of kickers? Spoiler alert, you should. The secret is trying to anticipate potential issues before they happen so no one gets grumpy with how they're addressed in the league.
That's a good piece of advice, but I also think that there's nothing wrong with keeping to yourself. I don't like to socialize.
Yeah, you're very antisocial.
I don't even like talking to y'all every week. Y'all get on my nerves.
Feeling is mutual, sir.
Right?
But, I'm not a big socializer as far as, fantasy football goes.
I'm sure you're not the only one out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially because it's like a majority of guys that do it.
Right.
So, guys, we're not super friendly. Some are. And if they're playing with their friends and stuff, maybe they are.
Right.
But I just play with, random people.
Right.
Gotcha.
I'll download an app and I'll play with randos.
Uh-huh.
And, I'm not trying to be your friend, If you're not going to take me out to dinner, we don't need to be chit-chatting.
Okay. Right?
Where were we at? 11?
Yes.
Go over your decisions, but do not tinker. This is easier said and done. Toggling between ranks, Twitter news, friends that you trust, and sometimes flipping a coin. Tinkering is tough on the soul. But sometimes, you have 2 really good players and at one position, and you're like, who am I going to put as kicker this week? Yeah. Who's going to be my go-to wide receiver this week? Because let's say your good wide receiver is injured.
Yeah.
Well, of the other 2, you've gone 5 games with your main one, and then he gets hurt, and then you've got these 2 guys. You're like, who the hell are they?
Yeah.
You got to make a decision.
Yep.
And you can't sit there forever flipping back and forth.
Right.
You got to trust yourself, trust the stats, and kind of see, okay, this guy or that guy's had decent stats. He's gonna play really well.
Which kind of leads into number 12, which is be okay not listening to your heart, because the season always starts with sunshine and roses, and all your players are healthy, and you have a couple of people who are your favorite team on the squad, of course. So the season looks great. But it is hard enough to know when you have to cut bait and bench or even drop a player. But the sting is even stronger if you hold on too long. So it's more listening to your head than your heart.
Yeah. And you have to, because, the example in here is Russell Wilson from last year.
Yeah.
You pick up Russell Wilson, you're like, oh my God, this is an amazing quarterback.
You're right.
And then he has a poo-poo season.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with him.
Yeah.
It went
and
south.
you want to keep giving him a chance and give him a chance.
And the Garoppolos are gone.
Yeah.
And the Burrows are gone. And the Mahomeses are gone. It's like, who do you pick now?
Yeah.
You know? Right. And so...
And you're stuck with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, you know.
Right.
And sometimes his wife would have been a better player than he was last year. You know,
He
had a rough season.
Right.
So, you know, it's a big deal and it matters. Flex correctly. Guys say this every Thursday. Make sure you get your flex players out of your flex spot. Give yourself as much flexibility as possible as the weekend progresses to make lineup switches.
Yeah. And then number 14, stop checking the score of your matchup. This is a tough one. Hitting refresh is something I do a lot in the game, but I have to talk myself out of it too, but it is just too easy to get too confident or down on yourself after the morning games. You've done the work. Try to sit back and enjoy the ride.
And that's what I do. Once I set it, I forget it. Mm-hmm. Because you cannot sit there and panic about it because there's nothing you can do. Once your lineup is set, you're stuck with it. So you didn't pay attention and you left somebody on the injured reserve list in your spot, expect to lose that game.
Yeah.
And that could move you from 3rd to 5th or 3rd to 6th, depending on how well everybody else does. So pay attention. But really, once you set it, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, check it the next morning. That's usually what I do. Check it the next morning. You can see everybody's updated stats and stuff like that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And the most important thing to remember, fantasy football is a game, so treat it as such. Have fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't make a big fuss about it. Don't cry about it.
Yeah, and I can imagine
there
has to be some on fantasy football that are just into it to know everything and get in there and actually get upset.
It sounds so time consuming.
Their time.
It really does.
It's not. Yeah. It's not. You spend about an hour maybe researching.
Really?
If you research it, some guys just know about sports. Like I'm sure Chad would be able to go through there and be like, okay, I saw this guy on ESPN or whatever. So this is my team. But me, that I don't know like about all the
stats and
the stats of players and stuff.
I think it's
I would
crazy.
have to go through there. And luckily, these apps give you their stats and how they did last week and things like that.
So you can make an informed decision.
Yeah, so
that's
you can,
good.
You know, if you don't know, you can go ahead and do that. So that's a lot of great advice for people who've never played fantasy football.
Yes.
And maybe,
I have a website that I looked up actually.
First, let me tell us about this one. We got all this information from thefantasyfootballers.com.
Yes.
If you want to go on there, and I'm sure they have a lot of great information. Evie, what's your website?
So I had actually researched a little bit, and there is a website called Fantasy Football Cheat Sheet for Beginners. And it has all kinds of tips, all kinds of like help for,
That's the whole
beginners.
name?
Yeah, that's what I looked it up, and it said Fantasy Football Cheat Sheet for Beginners. It was in an article that I had read. So, yeah, and it says it is recommended for first-time drafters.
Okay, so there you go. That's another website where you can go.
There you go.
Find information, but
And name your team memorably.
The Peckerwoods?
No.
Hey,
no.
The Peckerwoods won.
I was reading about it, and it says your name needs to be memorable because that is what people are going to think of when they think of your fantasy football team. And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, the Odom Peckers, they were amazing.
Not the Peckers, the Peckerwoods.
Oh, excuse me, Peckerwoods.
I think it's more important that they remember the Peckerwoods won the 2017, 2018, and came in third
First
in 2019.
impressions last a lifetime. Just saying.
Winners make chicken dinners.
Sure.
Losers are boozers.
Yeah.
So there you go.
You guys don't name them names like that, please.
Name them whatever you want. Name them whatever you want.
Cool names.
I like the Peckerwoods. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it for the first part of the Drinks with the Side of Gossip Fall Sports Extravaganza. We will be back again on Wednesday with a very special episode. We're going to finish off about drinking, about foods, about sexy players, fashionable players. So that's going to be part 2 coming out on Wednesday. So be listening for that. We'll see you then.